abroad, it is the duty of the security agencies to maintain law and order. And that includes protecting the protesters and ensuring that they are doing their protest in accordance with the law. There's nothing wrong with the police guiding the protesters. For me, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the legal processes have been abused. Nobody will remain sane to be in jail for more than 7 years that a case is being tried. People are frustrated. People believe that if you do not find anything against this man, release him or reach a political solution. That is what is bringing all these things. It's a result of frustration that there is no interest of justice served in this. So diligent prosecution is one of the pillars of justice in a criminal offense. I do not see that diligence. And the federal government is failing on all fronts. Remember, we have pleaded that this should be treated as a political issue and settled out politically so that every party will go home in peace. And then you are the one who arrested him. You are the one who put him on trial. You are the one who is delaying for up to 7 years without giving clear justice. So the federal government is failing on all rounds. And as they keep failing, they are making their matters worse.
So do you think that this is really, you've said this is a political issue.
Should be a political issue.
It should be.
Yes.
But is it?
That's what I'm saying. The government should treat it as a political issue. Remember, during the colonial masters, where people were fighting for our independence, the colonial masters saw them also as adversaries. But they were genuine fighters of freedom. So in this world, there will always be two aspects of an issue. You know, the kind of cost-benefit issue, if it is in business. What is a cost to somebody is a benefit to another. That is how you treat political issues. To some people, he's fighting and agitating for their rights and freedom. You should also take that into consideration. To you, you may say he may have infringed on some laws. Why doing that? You should take that into consideration. And if you're a wise government, you will come to a negotiation table and let each side make a shift and come to a compromise and settle this issue politically.
The issue which he agitates for, which IPOB has agitated for years, is something that countries generally find very difficult to deal with, which is the issue of self-determination. How do you think that that can be resolved, given the fact that even if the federal government were to say, look, politically, we release him today, that certainly would not stop the agitations for people who believe that they should be given a separate country of their own?
Very good. And that is why you should not attribute it to him, that he is the originator and the perpetrator of this. I think it predates him and might even outlive him. So it is about the government learning how to treat agitators and how to dialogue with them. Because as you have aptly stated it, it didn't start with him. We've had MASOP, we've had other organizations. It may certainly not end with him. So it's about people expressing in their different ways their manners of frustration with the system. When things were so good in Nigeria, I wasn't hearing all these agitations. But whatever name you call them, it is frustration to the suffering, to the hunger and hardship in the country. That is the truth.
I was going to ask you, what side are you on? Are you on the side of the protesters? Do you support their cause, or do you think that since this matter is already in court, pressure should be applied to the federal government to let this matter run as quickly as possible?
Very good. I am on the side of rule of law. I just told you that Nigerians have the right to protest. Section 40. And you can't take it away from them. It's their natural right, innate in them. And the Supreme Court has said, beyond exercising these rights, no human being can live a civilized life. So it is their innate natural right to protest. And it should be encouraged in a democracy. Because when you bottle up all these things, then there will be an implosion and explosion. But when people are allowed to express themselves, according to Section 39, they will ease off their anger. They will feel they've been heard. And then the government will also use it to understand the feeling of the people and know the solution they are from and they are at. So the issue is that it is a support to rule of law. What does rule of law say? Somebody is innocent until you prove him guilty. And you must prove him guilty within a reasonable time. When it's unreasonable, it's no longer rule of law. And for me, keeping somebody for 7 years in the name of trial is unreasonable. So whatever it is, it should end now. Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Either the justice system moves at the speed it ought to move. In our laws, criminal trial ought to be held every day until judgment. That is what the law says. So I am on the side of law. I'm on the side of justice. Whether there's marginalization against the Southeast, that is given. So whether people will agitate, that is legal. Their method of agitation should also be legal. And if the government believes somebody has exceeded, then when you're applying the law, apply it legally, judiciously and judicially. And in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, with respect, I can say they have not lived up to it.
Today is also the 5th anniversary of the NSAS protest. That was one protest that we saw a lot of young people come out to express their displeasure with the way the Nigeria police, or will I say an arm of the Nigeria police, had treated a number of young people over the years, indiscriminate detention. And after a while, the protest morphed into something else. It morphed into a general protest of complaint against the state in general and the state of affairs. Sadly, that protest did not end well. I mean, in terms of the conflict that degenerated between federal government forces and the protesters. And that had implications for a lot of people, had implications for businesses. I mean, we saw what happened afterwards, the aftermath of the protests, where businesses were, destroyed and all of that. So on days like this, when, this sort of protests are declared, people usually are very cautious. Businesses are wary. How do we balance this need for protest, which is a legitimate right, and the fears? Because the protesters, yes, they're protesting a certain cause, and I'm sure a lot of people share their cause for justice, but they also fear that it might not end well. At the end of the day, it affects whatever little that they have been able to build within the system. On a sister program this morning, we saw, a complainant come to talk about how the government of the day has pulled down the little business that they have been able to build. That is a demolition, is something different. But when protests now generate to something that actually affects lives and livelihoods, how do we call that balance?
This is where the efficiency from the state comes into view. Abroad, it is the duty of the security agencies to maintain law and order. And that includes protecting the protesters and ensuring that they are doing their protest in accordance with the law. There's nothing wrong with the police guiding the protesters on the ways they should protest to make sure that it remains peaceful. If you recall, just like you have enunciated the issue of the NSAS, when it started, one of their demands was the welfare of the police. Telling you everybody in Nigeria is under torture. Telling you the nation and the government has failed everybody, including the security agencies. We have seen it. That's why I said most of what you're seeing in Nigeria is a manifestation of the suffering, of the hunger and hardship in the system, including that of the security agencies. When a man has not eaten from morning and is carrying a rifle, he is always triggered and can be irrational in his behavior against human beings. So the whole idea is that things are not working because the indices are not doing well, and the government is reading out statistics that is more tormenting. You know what George Sylvester said? He said, when a nation's growth is on paper, but its people sinks in hunger, say that's not progress. That is polished poverty wearing a mask of statistics. So when people are suffering and the government of the day is using fake statistics to mask their suffering, it becomes more frustrating because they know there is no end in sight. Because when the government is making that mask, they are hiding under a mischief for the suffering to continue, not a sincere desire to bring about solutions. So Nigeria has become a theater where the government is not governing well and the people are not trusting the government. And that is what you're seeing in the protests. When the NSAS met with government agreed at the initial stage to answer all their demands. But you could still see that lack of trust. They will still go and sit down and say, until we see it implemented. Because to them, once we leave this arena, it will be forgotten. And in all honesty, what they said was right. ASU went into agreement with federal government since 2009. Immediately they leave the table, the government forgets it. Till today, 2009 agreement is still being brought to the fore, and strike is being called because of it.
And to put my voice for waiting Kenneth Okonkwo talk, he is 125% right in everything when they talk. Forget about sentiment. Whether you want support waiting this government they do, or you know want support waiting Kenneth Okonkwo, forgetting about for political party, whether na PDP in day or whether na SDP or NRC or Labour Party, no matter. I don't talk am before, say when person talk truth, irrespective of whether you like him or not, let's just accept the truth when talk, then you fit go back to not like him. So today the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest start, and I don't hear so many news. I don't see so many news. First of all, then talk say Sowore run, and a lot of people laugh. Talk say person will call for protest, they run. Now I want to ask you one question. If you know run to fight another day, how you could take fight again? So yes, Sowore did a smart thing. If him been run, yes, he did right to run. After all, when Boko Haram, they attack Sambisa forest and insurgents and everything, armies know they run. they know they watch movies. As actor, they run. Then in later go energize, come back, come face the boss. So if Sowore run, make him run. In the run to come back fight. Now the first time where Sowore don't run be that. Now the first time where they don't target and make him run be that. In the run, but with the same they come back. So Sowore, it was good you ran. And the second thing what happened for this protest, they talk say Nnamdi Kanu lawyer not been supposed to join the protest because it's unethical, and the federal government, Bayo Onanuga, say make a Nigerian Bar Association made and sanction them. Say how lawyer where they represent inclined for an ongoing court case follow join protest. First of all, why that court case long as it long? So if this court case been finished maximum in 2 years, tell me how Nnamdi Kanu lawyer for take on join that protest. Yes, it is unethical because I go do my research, go find out if it is right for a lawyer protecting or defending a client to join in that client's protest. And AI tell me say yes, it is. Not that it is wrong, but it is unethical. It is unethically risky because it represents conflict of interest. Say, as a lawyer, where they represent your client and there is a protest for that client, say, you as a lawyer, you no suppose join that protest. Waiting if you do not to stand by the side, observe, take notes for waiting to happen to the protest, but to be actively involved in the protest as a lawyer representing a client, that it is unethically risky. However, as a lawyer, you fit join for other protests where no involve you. Let's say protests about the government where we say no be your case, no be you the handle them. All right, you fit join that one. So I don't understand why Nnamdi Kanu lawyer go join this protest. Whether I no say him been the risk in career to join this protest, or him no just send. But for Ram to join that protest, it wasn't ethical. He no been supposed to join and be no effort for that part. Maybe he did it consciously. We may never know his reason because as a lawyer, he should know better. And I want make una see this video as even blind people follow the protest for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. While I don't actually know the state where these blind people protest for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu been happen, but then shall join. That not to show you say if blind people fit protest for the release and the freedom of person where they never see before, because I believe say a lot of them they were born blind. For person where they never see for their life, whether not for newspaper or for television or for any other device, but then follow the protest for the release of that person. Then Nigerian government, federal government are supposed to be say, you don't reach time to release Nnamdi Kanu, because even Jesus Christ said, if you don't want to do this, God can raise up stones to, you understand? So you will get eye, get mouth, get ear, get everything. See Nnamdi Kanu, don't hear, sing the talk, maybe even meet them one-on-one. You know, being follow go join the protest. So you see, God don't raise up blind people to protest for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. So we're once again, well done for what you do. And all Nigerians who've been follow join this protest to support, God bless you now. It's your boy, the Crackhead. Good night.